committee that's been set up to look into allegations of corruption, and government has hinted it would not conduct any further investigations into the controversial transaction between the Ghana Revenue Authority and Suba Info Solutions. Information Minister Mahama Yariga insists a technical committee constituted to look into the activities of Suba has made far-reaching recommendations, and they are happy with the outcome. He spoke on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM. Listen.
Take the decision that involves them. Is that how you would do it in your ministry?
Now listen, if you read the first paragraph, which talks about the task of the committee, the task of the committee was to review and renegotiate the service agreement between Revenue Agencies Governing Board and Suba Info Solutions. So right from the beginning, their job was to renegotiate. Because as I indicated,
not to look into whether Suba was paid for work not done.
Now
we are getting to the real issue here. The job of the committee, Honorable, the job of the committee, you are saying to us now, was to renegotiate the contract. So while this conversation was going on about whether Suba was paid for work not done, questions about the fact that Suba Info Solutions is owned by a bigger group and whether there's some conflict of interest going on, while all these questions were raging, the government or the finance ministry set up a committee to renegotiate the contract.
You see, if you get back to the explanation about the nature of the contract, you won't be asking these questions. What is the nature of the contract? The nature of the contract is that I, as government, I have licensed private telcos to provide a service to the population. When they provide a service, they have to collect a service tax, which is VAT and National Communication Service Tax, and give to me. On the average, every month, they collect 10 million for me. I don't have the capacity to monitor them and find out exactly how much service they are rendering. It's important. It's important. No, it's important.
I think you are going over areas that we have cleared up.
No, it's not about clearing. If that area,
you in a moment.
If that area explains a subsequent question.
Pardon me for this, Honorable. I apologize, but I must step in. I apologize. Okay. Look, I want everybody to understand this conversation. This is the reason why I'm trying to drill down.
And who's supposed to help them understand? Myself, because you've been on radio the whole morning. I was listening to you. Yesterday you were on radio the whole morning. I listened to you.
Honorable, I appreciate your listenership. And I hope you continue to listen. But
what is the nature of the work that they were supposed to do? That is fundamentally what you have to understand. The nature of the work is this. I collect on the average 10 million from telcos as taxes. There is a mechanism for monitoring them to ascertain whether or not I should be getting 15 million. I shouldn't be the same person doing that. I should contract somebody else, because it's best practice in other places. They contract somebody else to do it for them. So we contract a company and say, monitor them and then tell us whether that is the amount of money that we should be paying. Now, monitoring has two possible effects. First, the understanding and knowledge that somebody is monitoring me will definitely lead to a change behavior. Is that okay? And secondly, the person actually putting in place the infrastructure and mechanisms for monitoring me will also help that person to ascertain the extent of deviation.
So say you do not know the various developments that have come up as a result of this investigative committee results. Now, Suba has been accused of receiving in excess of 74 million cedis for work they did not do. And here's what the CEO of the Ghana Telecoms Chamber has described the results of this committee. He says he's convinced Suba is either irredeemably incompetent or fatally fraudulent if the company still insists it monitored telcos to check their revenue inflows to help verify if they are paying the right taxes or not. Kweku Sechiado believes the committee's report exonerating Suba Info Solutions from any wrongdoing was prepared without the informed input of the chamber. And then again, founder of local think tank Imani Ghana, Franklin Kojo, and economic analyst Sidney Casey Hayford are dragging Ghana's telecommunications regulator, the National Communication Authority, before the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice over its involvement in Suba, the deal branded as a sham. Now, the two will be leading the charge to unravel the legitimacy of a contract entered into with SUBA to provide telecom traffic monitoring services for revenue verification by the NCA. Now, their case is this is a job that could have been done by the NCA. I'm joined over the telephone by financial analyst Sydney Casely-Hayford, who will throw a bit more light on this. Thank you very much for joining us here, Sydney.
Thank you.
Explain your stance to us.
Hello?
I'm asking. Reports arrived that indeed you yourself, together with Franklin Kujo of Imani Ghana, are dragging the NCA before Shraj. I was asking that you explain that position.
Yes, we are intending to go to Shraj on this matter. Well, first of all, we don't see that it is an above-board contract. We see a lot of corruption issues, a lot of laxitude in it, and we feel that, you know, if the government is going to whitewash through committee what we consider to be blatant corruption of this sort, then we expect Shraj to sit up and do something about it. So we are proceeding to go and file a Shraj. We're either going to do it this week or we'll do it early next week.
Why won't you take on SUBA?
Sorry?
I'm asking, why won't you take on SUBA?
Why won't we take on SUBA? Oh, SUBA will be involved in one way or the other. But you know, under the loss to the state, financial loss to the state, willful financial loss to the state, it's purely a matter of Shraj investigating government officials. The contract was signed and offered by the Ghana Revenue Authority, and we want to know why it was through the Ghana Revenue Authority and not through the National Communications Authority in the first place. Secondly, we want to know what role the NCA played in doing this and why this particular case was not brought to bear. So we are questioning the actual origination of the contract, how it came to reside with the GRA, and why we have a parallel institution investigating or actually trying to unearth under invoicing or under declaration of revenues when the National Communications Authority has the power and the capacity to do it. So we are going to ask Shraj to investigate all of that and let us know the results as soon as possible.
Even so, a committee was set up to look into the matter. You're not convinced the committee did its job?
The committee itself is questionable. SUBA Infosystems themselves are part of the committee. So also is the Ghana Revenue Authority. These are the two parties that were involved in signing the contract. Why, therefore, do they sit on the committee that is supposed to be investigating what they did? It doesn't make any sense.
I see. Thank you very much, Sydney, for your time. Sydney Casely-Hayford is a financial analyst. Now, together with Imani Ghana's Franklin Kujo, the NCA, they intend to drag the NCA to Shraj over willfully causing financial loss to the state. There's more